All right. There's people who are going to tell you that what you're doing by standing out here today doesn't work, that the legislators aren't going to listen to you. Because a large part of my audience is in Vermont. I cover Vermont politics and I follow what's going on there. Ed Cutler is the president of the Gun Owners of Vermont, and he gave an impassioned speech about the fact that they can carry concealed in Vermont. He did it right here in this building. Last year at this time, Governor Shumlin of Vermont was quoted in an interview saying, if the state legislature can give me a good gun control bill, I'm very open to passing it. Just a couple of weeks ago, in a news session, he said, I don't understand the people who come to me and tell me all of Vermont's problems are because of guns. It just doesn't make sense to me. In 1 year, his whole attitude about gun control changed. The reason why I bring that up is because you need to keep the pressure on. They will listen to you and your friends if you keep the pressure on. Now, I get a guest from time to time. He comes on, he says, I'm a representative from New Hampshire, but deep in my heart, I'm a Green Mountain boy, and that is Representative John Burt. Yeah.
Hopefully everybody can hear me. Thank you, Ben. And for the people that don't know, I am Representative John Burt, Goffstown, Ware, and Deeren. So if you have any friends over there, make sure they vote for me. I do have a sign over there that says it's all about the children. The anti-gunners, and are there any anti-gunners here? Oh, okay, there's one, two. They think that I'm joking, and I'm not. It is about the children. It's about my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. Because if we don't fight now, they will lose their rights later. I want to talk a little bit about House Bill 650 because I sit on the Criminal Justice Committee. I am sorry, but I've been a bad boy on that committee. The police, for some reason, don't like me anymore. I ask respectful, hard questions, and they take it personal. It's not personal. It is my God-given right to carry this gun here. And I'm going to make sure they know it. Now, House Bill 650 is the background check. Are there any Bloomberg fans here? Okay, thank you. It is a Bloomberg bill. Now, I am going to talk about Senate Bill 31, which is a Vermont bill. Same Bloomberg bill. What happened is the sergeant was carrying on and he was talking about how we have to have background checks because you aren't to be trusted and you need a background check every time you want to sell your friend or your neighbor a gun. So I asked the sergeant, I said, Sergeant, what is the difference between the Vermont State Police and the New Hampshire State Police? And he looks at me like, what do you mean? Well, let me finish. The Vermont State Police are opposed to Senate Bill 31. Background checks. They said we don't need it. And even the Democrat, and I mean very Democrat, governor in Vermont has said if this ends up, background checks end up on my desk, I will veto it. Unlike our governor here. So I said, what is the difference between the two state police? Well, he started carrying on going, well, Vermont doesn't do this and Vermont doesn't do that. And let me tell you, Representative, and he was very personal about it, they don't even check felons over there if they have a firearm. And I said, and don't you know, Sergeant, that Vermont is the second safest place in the world next to Switzerland? Well, there's the deer in headlight look because he can't come back and rebut it. Well, I want to talk real brief about House Bill 582, which is to get rid of our license. As Ben said, I am from Vermont. I was over here for 9 months carrying when somebody said, hey, oh, you must have a license. And I said, what do you mean a license? He says, well, you got to have a license to carry. I said, no, you don't. What the hell are you talking about? So I called a friend that I know up in Woodsville, New Hampshire, a police friend of mine, that's where I was living at the time. And I asked him about the license. And he says, yes, you got to have a license. Why? Oh, nothing. Have a nice day. So right there, I realized we got problems in New Hampshire, and we have a lot of freedoms compared to what I left over there. But the police brings up the free fire zone. Tourism's going to drop right off, and that's the end of it. And this time, on this particular bill, guess what the sergeant did? And again, I mean all the due respect that he deserves. He brings his colonel with him. And I'm like, what the hell is he sitting there for? So when I asked a question, the colonel stands right up. Sergeant, I'll answer this question to Representative Burt. Well, apparently the slam dunk that I had earlier, he didn't want to repeat it because he knew I was going to ask some hard questions. So I asked him, what is the free fire zone? And talk about the no tourism. Are we going to shut our borders off once we pass this? And he gets up, oh, absolutely not, absolutely not. You know, but it's the safety of our officers. And he started carrying on the bad things that Vermont are doing with constitutional carry and the Wild West that goes on over there, you know, shootings every night on the streets. And he's starting to carry on about how it's unsafe for his officers not to know who is carrying. So I said, oh, so do we have a database? Oh, no, we don't have a database. So that kind of made him nervous. So, of course, he started going in about his officer not being protected when he comes up to the door. And I said, this is where I'm bad. I said, Colonel, I do have some Vermont state trooper friends, and they are more than willing to come over here and train the New Hampshire State Police. Well, if you see the video on YouTube, the sergeant stands up instantly and glares. And I'm telling you, if we were in a private room, you know, you'd be seeing black and blues all over me at that time. So there are some naughty people here. I'm not going to mention Kim's name. Whoops, I'm sorry. But she instantly tweets or Facebooks it out, and within 30 seconds I'm getting messages, you know, text messages saying, John, we will help you to pay your speeding ticket tonight as you go home. Well, I just cannot thank everybody for being here, and you know, I'm going to work hard to get these bills passed. I am grateful to have Ed Como on my in my committee. You know, between the two of us, hopefully, you know, we're going to get some of this stuff passed, and definitely the background check. We are going to kill that as quick as Governor Hassan is raising taxes on you. All right. I want to thank you. God bless you.
I love that guy. He's so good when he comes on air too. He's one of those guys when he's on air and he starts talking, I just sit back and say, okay, here it comes. He's gonna just unload. But
Croc TV.